Okay everyone, so I'm wanting to install a switch panel. At first I was a bit indecisive on how I wanted to install it or where I wanted to install it. You can kind of see this is a little area that has space and is closest to the battery. So here you can see that my switch panel does come with brackets. They could be used, but there would be some retrofitting involved. I thought about maybe putting one bolt in, the second bolt, OEM bolt, would not line up. But I don't like how close this plastic snap is. It's not very easily accessible. If I wanted to open it up, there's also a second bracket. The other thing is I notice how heavy they are. These are not aluminum, so I'm sure they will conduct heat more. So when I was browsing aftermarket mounting solutions, Oracle was one of my top choices. They have cool products, and this was the most affordable one. It's aluminum, very simple, clean looking. Looks like you can install it two different ways. The switch panel bracket from Oracle is simple and clean. The price point is great. I think it was like $40 or $45 with a coupon code I found online. I think I had free shipping somehow too, if you're purchasing over a certain price. It clears the fuse box. So it looks like if you were to put it upside down, if you don't want these bolts to show, it would shift it a little bit over the fuse box, and it would be more difficult to install these. You'd need like an extension probably with a swivel. So the first thing I noticed is my switch panel, when you place it on there, it's obviously too big and it won't fit. To be fair, this bracket was intended for their switch panel. It's not intended to be a universal switch panel. The other thing I would say is, obviously it's not powder coated. I was planning on spraying it with some Steel-It. Also, if I were to nitpick, they use tape. So, I mean, it's sticky all over certain areas. And I also noticed that they did not bend the bracket to the natural curve of the OEM holes. So you can see it lifts up. Not the end of the world, but just things that I noticed about it. My next option was biting the bullet and buying a more expensive bracket that was universal. And I found the Yota Xpedition. This one comes powder coated. You can see the bend is to the correct contour of the fender. It has like an additional kickstand leg to help it not move. Like this one's short, so it doesn't really need it, but there's still some play in there. I don't know if that would matter or not, but it's much larger, but it is like 3 times the price. I think by the time I paid for shipping and everything, it was like $120. But I think it'll be worth it. It's aluminum, so that's cool. I do also like that it's well thought out, not only with the bend, but it has these openings where you can slide in instead of having to constantly remove these bolts. These bolts are not easy to remove because those spots are opened and they get rusted. I'll go over that a little bit later, but yeah, going in and out with these bolts is not great, and I would definitely recommend some anti-seize or something. Okay, so these two bolts, these are OEM holes, and the size is 8mm by 1.25. The socket size is a 13mm. Thread size is 8mm by 1.25. These holes are actually like one of the most difficult parts for my truck because I had so much rust in there. This is after the fact. You can still see there's rust on it. I considered retapping them, buying new kits. They're expensive, and I didn't want to mess with it. And at some point I just thought, you know what, if they're messed up, I'm going to attempt to tap it with the actual screws. I could always buy new ones and see if I can solve the problem that way. And it, let's say 90% worked. So some of the challenge was trying to get a wire brush to fit in there without scratching the outside. I had this laying around. It's basically to clean a spray gun. You can get these at like Harbor Freight for pretty cheap. I ran these through there, especially this one was the worst, and the bolts did not want to go in at all. So I also sprayed it with some, well, I didn't spray it, I sprayed some Q-tips with some liquid wrench and let it soak overnight. That helped a lot. And then would go back and clean it with a clean Q-tip, used a bunch of Q-tips. And then these still would not go in. So what I did was I added some machining oil similar to what you would use for tap, and I would by hand tighten it as much as it would go, maybe 2 turns at a time. Then I would loosen it, and then I would take a ratchet, 2 turns, loosen it, 2 turns. You know, this would get really hot, pull it out, add some more oil, just kind of like not force it too much, kind of guide it in, and it was time consuming, but it worked. And I also, the screw that I used for each individual hole, I keep using it for that same hole, so there won't be any kind of, you know, cross-threading if that were a thing to happen. Next, I'm using this anti-seize. Okay, so we have to install this bracket. We'll be facing here. There's a 10mm bolt. Let's see if I can find it. Where are you? Okay, there it is. Right there. You see I already opened it a little bit, pointing at it with the bracket right there. So I've been trying to create reasons to need this tool, and this job didn't really need the tool, but it was still awesome using it anyways. Oh yeah, so cool. How awesome is that? Here is the 10mm bolt I pulled out. I have to slip that little bracket with the clip out, and then the switch panel bracket will sandwich between that OEM bracket and the fender. There it is. See right there. Let's see on this side. clip is inside that hole. And then it's pretty tight, but there's still enough play to where you can install it pretty easily. So here I'm using a swivel, very necessary, long extension. Have my 13mm socket. You can see there's no battery in this. I'm just using this as a normal ratchet. Okay, now that the two fender bolts are snugged up, we need to add this one with the 5mm Allen wrench. All right, so here she is, fully installed, no wiggling or vibration. Aluminum, nice build, fits well. Large surface area. Can't really ask much more for a universal mount. It is expensive, but I do think it's worth it. Just the time and energy that you would save is worth it alone. Plenty of space underneath. It does overlap the fuse box, but it appears that there's enough space to reach in and hit this clip here. Got a clip there and a clip here. Here's kind of a rough draft of my layout. See plenty of space for the mount. Boom, boom. Probably have this here. Super cool. So these are both super nice brackets that I demonstrated. This was just my progression of the rabbit hole, trying to find mounting solutions. You know, they both have different price points. They're both different sizes, different purposes. One's universal, one is specific, and I thought I would be able to retrofit it, but it was bit off more than I could chew with that. Decided not to do it, so I thought I would share my experience. Boom.